Let's mention Amex, though, while we had it up there, because the company is indeed announcing it's approving a dividend increase, right? I believe I saw a 20% increase to its dividend, but that's not helping the stock, Saz.
No, big investor day, too, for Amex, March 16th, market down. You'll have Amex CEO Stephen Squeri presenting. When he comes out, usually you get a lot of news from the company. I would expect some next week.
We'll keep an eye on it, even as we don't see that giving any relief to the shares here this morning. Let's talk about Crowdstrike, because this is another outlier here as we see a lot of pressure overall on the markets here this morning. Crowdstrike coming out with a forecast that was above what analysts had been anticipating here. Fiscal first quarter earnings going to be 22 to 24 cents a share. Revenue going to be as much as $465 million, both of those figures above what analysts have been talking about. And basically, it comes down to the company says it's seeing still strong demand here, Saz.
Julius, is a blowout quarter, Crowdstrike. Second hottest ticker on the Yahoo Finance platform this morning. Sales up 63%. Annual recurring revenue up 65%. Operating profits, $80.4 million versus $35 million last year. This was a very good quarter from the company. $2 billion in cash. That is an amazing position to be in, to potentially consolidate their position in the cybersecurity space. I do want to note one thing here, Julian. This was, say, a disturbing comment from CEO George Kurtz, friend of the show, on the earnings call last night. He said, quote, as the nation-state events of the past few weeks have demonstrated, cyberspace is center stage, joining land, air, sea, and space as the fifth dimension of warfare. So George Kurtz really giving folks a lot of people to think about here this morning. Of course, his company's top of mind. Yeah,
definitely. And also a perennial top of minder, if you will, for folks who use the Yahoo Finance platform is General Electric. And the company is having Investor Day today. And a couple of comments here we're hearing from the company. It is reaffirming its forecast for full year earnings of $2.80 to $3.50. You can see the shares are down. Cash flow outlook also, the company reaffirming, which is an important metric for General Electric, $5.5 billion to $6.5 billion it sees is free cash flow for 2022. Another couple of interesting headlines I see here. It says its healthcare demand is strong despite supply chain disruptions, and that the power business is on track for stable earnings and cash generation here. The shares are down along with the rest of the market, so the headlines here are not enough to help it buck the downtrend today, Saz.
No, and there's a lot to unpack here, Julie, not to use an overused word here and unpack, but still, this is a company being chopped up into three pieces here, so there's a lot more going on here than just simply an investor day for GE. I will note this, though, their outlook this year is really predicated on a strong snapback in sales growth for aviation. GE coming out here saying this morning they're looking for at least 20% organic sales growth from their aviation. If they do hit that, that'll be the fastest revenue growing segment for GE. So a lot really hinges on them nailing it in aviation and companies reinvesting in airplanes ultimately to come out on the other side of the pandemic.